Greetings YouTube, and thank you very much for joining me on the channel today. Today we have something rather different. Carpuride reached out to me and asked me if I would review and look at and install one of their units. I requested the 602S Pro with tyre pressure monitoring system. So they very kindly sent this unit, and I will be going through the unboxing, installation and then a ride review in the separate video of this unit. I already have the unit installed, but I'll show you what happened with the installation later on. It's a 6-inch unit, which I think is in the Goldilocks zone for any motorcyclist, the 7 being rather large and the 5-inch being a tad small. So without further ado, I will take you through to the unboxing part of the video now. According to the Carpuride website, the Carpuride story is a classic tale of frustration fueling innovation. It's the journey of a small trading firm that evolved into a global leader in portable smart screen technology by solving a problem every driver of an older vehicle has faced. The company was founded in 2014 in Shenzhen, China, originally operating as a simple trading company for USB drives and cables. The pivotal shift happened on a winter night in 2017. The founder, William, was driving a 2008 Jetta to a client meeting in an unfamiliar city, and using a tiny smartphone for navigation caused it to overheat and lag, leading him to get lost and miss a major business deal. That failure sparked a realization: millions of drivers were stuck with dumb dashboards. By 2018, Carpuride transitioned from a trader to an independent brand with its own factory, launching the W602S, a portable screen that brought Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to any car without needing a professional install. While they gained fame in the automotive world, their most significant recent impact has been their aggressive expansion into the motorcycle market. Motorcyclists faced a unique dilemma. Mounting an expensive smartphone to handlebars often destroyed the phone's delicate camera sensors due to engine vibrations, and Carpuride recognized this gap and developed ruggedized, vibration-resistant units. The Pro series, the W502, the W702, and now with this unit, the W602S Pro. These weren't just car screens in a smaller box. Carpuride introduced IP67 waterproofing, high brightness screens for direct sunlight and glove-friendly touchscreens. The Wonder Wheel integration. A massive breakthrough for the brand was the BS series, which allow BMW riders to control the screen using the factory-installed handlebar Wonder Wheel. And safety integration. They moved beyond just maps and music by adding radar blind spot detection on the BSD version and tyre pressure monitoring TPMS, which is, on this version, directly into the units, positioning the device as a safety hub rather than just a tablet. Today, Carpuride's identity is firmly rooted in the adventure space. They've successfully convinced the riding community that your phone belongs in your pocket and your navigation belongs on a rugged, purpose-built screen. So the version that I am reviewing here today is the W602S Pro, which comes with the tyre pressure monitoring system. Those TPMS modules actually replace your little caps on your valves, and you can see them here. They just screw on and then they lock with a locking nut as well. what you can see here is the mounting bolts for the satellite navigation mount, if you like, but we won't be using those in this installation. The unit comes complete with pretty much everything you need, including the tools to install a Carpuride unit onto your motorcycle. Now, a lot of people would probably say that, well, with the advent of the quad lock and some Chinese copies, the vibration dampener on those quad locks pretty much resolves the problem of vibrations damaging the lenses on more expensive smartphones. But of course, that doesn't stop a potential thief from either knocking your bike over once it is stationary, perhaps at a junction, or just coming up to you and tearing your phone off the quad lock mount. And this is a problem that we've got now. And if you just spent £1,000 on the latest iPhone or Galaxy handset, the last thing you want to do is to have your precious handset stolen, even if it is locked. Hence these less expensive units like this Carpuride and other manufacturers now developing these units, which effectively gives you modern day Android Auto, Apple CarPlay on your motorcycle, like in your car. The manual that you receive is actually very comprehensive and pretty much covers most, if not all, aspects of the installation and the operation of the unit. We won't be using the satellite navigation bar mount for our installation on the BSA Gold Star, so we'll be putting all those bits and pieces away. But of course, those will be very useful to any adventure motorcyclist that has got that navigation bar. We're going to be using the handlebar mount with the what looks like a ram mount. So the terminal that you see here, we won't be using that, but we will be using the little controller which actually sits on the handlebar, obviously on the left side, not the throttle side, and that controller is for fast actions where you can like hang up calls, make calls, go back to home, this kind of thing, and even shut off the unit. That's actually very useful, and that directly connects into the unit. The power cable, which is fused, that is also supplied and will connect directly onto your battery. But of course, as I said on the introduction, we won't be using that because I haven't got a switched Thunderbox type unit, which means that it will remain on permanently, and that can drain your battery if you don't disconnect or turn the unit off, and that's a bit of an issue. So we're going to be using the USB-A cable, which plugs into that red terminal. So this cable here is the one we're going to be using, and they simply just fit together, and you've got then a locking mechanism which screws into or onto the other end. So here we can see the keys, and these are security keys. You get two, and they've got little holes in where you can put them on your key ring. Now when we insert that into the little hole which is at the side, it will actually securely remove the unit from the mount, and then we can then securely connect it to the mount, which means that you can leave it on your motorcycle when you've got it parked up at the bike park or at the cafe without fear of it being stolen. Having a little look around the unit, we can see that there's a power button there which you can turn the unit off and on, and in addition to that we've also got a USB-C at the back, and that can be set up to charge your phone if you want it to. It can also be used with a power bank from there as well, but that's of course if you're connected to the battery directly with the terminals which are included in the pack. So welcome back to this part of the video. So you can see the Carpuride 602 installed, and actually because the bike, or the one that I've chosen, is black, it actually does look in keeping with the bike somewhat. I know it's a modern unit, but that shouldn't excuse the fact that just because we've gone for modern classics doesn't mean to say that we've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and better options for navigation. And here it is. So what I've done is I've mounted it here, and I plumbed the cable for the USB down through here, and you can see I've gathered the cables up there and attached it to the wiring loom with some clips. I then brought the cable back through and underneath here to firstly the very handy little device which can control the CarPlay unit here, which is very useful. That fits perfectly on there because the grips are thick enough, and they go back through here, and I've got them wired here. This is for the actual little control unit, and that's for the USB-A. And of course the USB-A I've then got connected into, let me make that out, here. So I think that works particularly well on the BSA Gold Star and my particular machine. And the great thing about it is that when you turn the power on, it still doesn't come to life until you power the engine up. Now all the functions are available on this as in your car. I mean, you've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as usual, but you've also got a selection of other features which are quite unique to this device. One of them is the SOS option, where it will link to one of your emergency contacts, and if it detects that the bike has been dropped, you've got about 10 seconds to cancel the call, but it will call your emergency contact. That is a godsend. It's also got tyre pressure monitoring system, which I will take you through the installation in a bit and show you that. And that's particularly critical for the BSA Gold Star because it's of course using the tubed tyres. And as anybody knows, if the tubes go, they go very rapidly and probably without much warning. So it's really critical on this bike that you can keep your tyre pressures under certainly monitored for safety. So that's another good safety feature, and it comes with the 602S Pro models. So on the BSA, we need to just remove this cap here, and then we have got two of these. We've got A, which is the front wheel marked, and then B for the rear wheel. And all we do is we put this supplied nut on here first, and this is essentially a locking nut. Oops. So we just pop that on there. And then we'll use the front wheel A to then screw that on. Best to screw it on very quickly, otherwise you'll lose too much pressure. And then we lock it on. And I think the whole point of locking it on is so it's not stolen potentially, or it doesn't come off. And you use the supplied spanner. That's now tight, and that's it. That's how you install them. So I'll do it on the rear wheel now. I noticed, and you probably heard as well, that I lost a little tiny bit of pressure out of that. Just be aware of that, just be careful. And obviously when these get linked to the unit, it's going to take a few miles probably for them to adjust and to understand what the pressure is. And if the pressure is lower than they should be, it'll tell me. So that'll be quite interesting to have a look on the actual unit itself. So we'll have a look at the rear one. So this is the rear tyre. Now, as you saw in the last one needs to get this on fairly rapidly. So there's the locking nut going on now. Now this one is the rear wheel, marked RW, rear wheel, B, and you need to screw this on fairly rapidly. Otherwise you're going to lose a lot of pressure up the tyre. There you go. On as quickly as you can. So that is important to remember that. And then we'll see, I'm just screwing that up there. To lock that in place, and using the supplied wrench just to give that a bit of a tighten. And I think that's enough. I mean, you know, it's going to be a real faff to get that off if somebody wanted to take those from you. So that's it, basically. So let's see if we can get a decent angle and not just see me in this. Oh, get on the bike. So I mean, that is the view that you're going to get from the helmet, really. Some of that distance and what you're going to see from the helmet point of view, which I think is fine. Sorry about the reflections, but you've got all the usual controls. And you've got the phone here, so you can see all your recents and then your contacts and that kind of thing. And then you can then just go back to your maps, your Google Maps straight away, or your books. And then you can go back to everything by that icon down the left. That is obviously I'm on 4G, and you've got the battery of the phone there. Then you've got your music. You can go into all of these the usual sort of playlists and bits and pieces there. Then you've got Apple Maps, because I'm using an Apple phone, and that would be the case. It'll be Google Maps if you've got an Android device, I expect. And messaging, you know, that kind of thing. And then you've got now playing. You've got the Carpuride Home, and I'll show you that. Podcasts, audiobooks, and then you swipe along. Then you've got your news and your calendar settings. I've got Calimoto on here, but my subscription's expired at the moment. I actually do use Google Maps, so that's good, and WhatsApp and YouTube Music. And there you go. Now I've connected this to my Wi-Fi as well, my house Wi-Fi, which is useful. In the settings, you've just got the usual sort of thing, the driving focus. You can activate with CarPlay, so driving focus answers some alerts, notifications, that kind of thing. Announcing messages. Then you've got the appearance, so you can change. I've changed it to always dark, and always dark show. Oh, I should do that. Dark maps, I just prefer that. You can customize the icons, you can change the wallpaper, so that kind of thing. The display, show the album art and music and that kind of thing, and all of this kind of stuff here. And then if you go back into the Carpuride Home, from here you've got the settings where you've got so if I click audio output, I can connect to to my helmet, or you can connect to two helmets if you want to, if you've got a passenger, that function, which is useful. We go back to CarPlay there, go back into there. Also in settings here, you can do the system, you can connect to your Wi-Fi, which I've got connected. So I've got my Wi-Fi connected on there. And then you've got the Bluetooth and the settings in there. And the over-the-air updates, I've checked, I haven't got any. And then in the mountings, that's quite useful and very interesting. I've got the tyre pressure monitoring system. So it's slightly low on the front, but perfectly very slightly higher on the back at the moment, on the PSI. And I've got my oh, please calibrate the compass. I've already calibrated that. For some reason it's lost its calibration at the moment, but you'd normally do a figure of 8 with it powered on, which you can do if you know, that's not an issue to do that. But that's only really of any use to you if you're going sort of off-piste, that kind of thing. And you've got a barometer, which is useful if you're going up to the, you know, the Himalayas or something. Then it will tell you if you're getting too high and wondering why you feel a bit woozy. There you go. Then you can put a TF card in here and put your own sort of playlists and music, MP3s, that kind of thing. So you can put a TF card in there. It's at the bottom. No, it's on the side actually. It's on the side here. And I think, and there's your, you can just play straight direct from there. You've also got quick functions at the top here. You click that. You can then change your brightness of the display. Or you can adjust the media and the voice. That's probably your home. There you go. And then you can adjust your equalizer. So you can change your equalizer, or bass in your music, treble, whatever. What else you got here? Don't know whether you've got anything else. And there you go, you've got your front and your rear tyre pressures. So quite often you can press this button here for the home and that'll automatically adjust that. If you go into, sorry, I didn't mean that, go back here. If you go into your mountings, you can do a quick flick back to here if you want, and then another flick back. It remembers where you've been, so that's really useful to be able to flick to and fro. So for example, let's just suppose you've got, let's have a look and see if this works out of interest. So you've got Google Maps there running. One click, okay. Let's see what happens with that. Oh, it's just a home button really, isn't it? Okay, it doesn't remember to go back to the... okay, that's a shame. That's okay. With these buttons as well, a long hold on that top button will turn this device off. So if I long hold like that, it's gone off. And then a long hold on it will turn it back on again. There you go, it's coming back. This button will obviously hang your call up or make your call. A quick press of that. I can't remember what the quick press will do. Let's do a quick press. Not quite sure. Look in the old manual, I suppose. Well, there you go. I mean, those are the functions of the device, and as I said, it just mirrors what your phone is basically doing. I actually think it does look quite good on the BSA, as I said before, because it's black. It doesn't look too out of place on a modern classic bike. I mean, it's going to look more in keeping on an adventure motorcycle or touring bike, I think. But I think the 5-inch unit which is available will probably be a little small, and the 7-inch will be huge on here. So I do think that that's about the right size. So that concludes this particular video. I hope that was of use to you, and if you're interested again in this device, there is that discount code in the description. Just make sure you if you intend on buying one, and that's on any of those devices, whichever size that you want, you get 30% off, and that is a huge discount if you want to buy one of these. So do take advantage of that. But that concludes this particular video. I will do another video with a ride review and see how it all works in reality, and to make sure that it all works properly for you, and that'll be coming up very soon. But I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been informative. Please do like, share and subscribe. The subscribing thing makes a big difference. And do like the content if you like it. I think that's enough from me today. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Just ride safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.